Hello and welcome to Last Level Press. Thank you for joining us. I am Mr. Black. Today we are taking a look at yet another Fallout New Vegas mod. This time it is the Wasteland Survival Hideout by WestEmperor, available at the Fallout New Vegas Nexus, like most of the other mods I have shown thus far, if not all of them, I should say. This adds a small player home to the California Sunset Drive-In, located just south of Prim, for those not as nerdily associated with the map as I am. And also, if you have New Vegas bounties, which you really should, just across the way from Randall's little shack over here. It does not necessarily have its own map marker per se, however, because it's right in the middle of the California sunset, you can just use that use that map marker, and just remember that it is located within this area. So let's jump into it. It does have a little bit of lore to it, which I like. So quite literally, the page reads, "Damn my bad luck, what the hell was I thinking, trying to help that caravan out with all those escaped convicts crawling around? I should have known better. Anyway, I still think I would have gotten them if it wasn't for that freaking powder charge trap. My leg is busted pretty well, though. I think pretty bad would be a better way to put it. And I think one of the powder gangers following that last merchant spotted me coming back to the hideout. Search for the key in the usual spot near the entrance, and I'm heading for the Mojave outpost. You should be safe here for a while." I don't know that it ever really addresses who that is addressed to, so let's just take a metagame reading of it and say that it's literally addressed to you. So don't do what I did and look around for the key on the top level grounds up there. You won't find it because it's right here, as if the white arrow wasn't making it obvious enough. And I hear them, but I don't see them, so unfortunately I can't give you an object demonstration here. There are supposed to be two little rats that hang out here in this entry hall that, not unlike the plant, I forget her name, Audrey Jr., never mind, from the Freeside Studio apartment, these rats are unkillable. They're invincible, so you can just take out all your frustration and rage on them and they'll just get knocked unconscious, which for some reason I just kind of like. Let's get some lights on in here, and that's one of my two real criticisms of this mod. I've only got two, really, one of which I'll get to in a moment. But even though this does have okay lighting, it just feels pretty dark. I think it's because there isn't, rather I should say there aren't, enough lighting points. Like, there should probably be one over here to keep this area from getting quite so dark, and this hallway leading down into the bed area also gets very, very dark. Now, part of that may be because I have Fallout on, so my lighting tends to be a little bit more pronounced than base game, but even still, I do feel that this could use a bit more illumination. So anyway, let's get into more of the pragmatism here. I don't know if I showed this or not, but you can engage or disengage the lock as you see fit. And this actually faked me out when I first toured through here. I thought that the modder had neglected to put a proper workbench in. I was mistaken, thankfully. The ammo press here, literally when you hover over the actual ammo press machine, that's your ammo bench, and then the actual workbench part of it is in fact a workbench. So show off the different menus there. So you will not find the usual blue-legged workbench in here. It's also got its own storage for these, so be aware of that. It's also got your usual auto dock. Another little feature here that I like with the auto dock, unlike a lot of mods that just kind of hand you one that can kind of destroy your need to really look after your resources and your medical state of being, this one requires items for you to do things, like requiring a stim pack for health, right away for removing rads. I like that. And it doesn't just do the same amount that one of these items would do, so it doesn't make it redundant and useless. It just gives you a little cost for having to come back and make use of this, which I do like. Especially if you're doing a hardcore playthrough, this would be a very fitting home for that, I think. You've also got the usual chemistry set here, as well as medical storage. I should note that, kind of like the train tunnel, all of the storage in here, I think, is labeled. If not in the hover text, it's actually labeled on the markers, or rather in the storage containers. So you've got heavy armor, light armor, pre-war clothing, miscellaneous, and hats and accessories. Miscellaneous weapons, ammo storage, energy, melee weapon, heavy, small weapons, weapon kits, and my favorite part of this mod. Maybe it just illustrates how easily entertained I am, but I really like the custom aquarium. You can turn the light on or off as you want. I don't know why, I just really like that. I actually had a similar standalone mod for the base player home from Fallout 3 that added a aquarium, which I may spotlight that later on, just because I like fish tanks. Don't judge me. Anyway, functioning cooking oven, and plenty of storage, beverages, food, yada yada, brew coffee. I don't know if that requires honest hearts or not. I guess not, since it doesn't say that it does. I should note that this doesn't have any requirements to it. I like the fact that it's not necessarily using the usual radio. It's not a jukebox. It's not the little desk radio. It's this thing that kind of looks like a giant communications rack that I guess you're just kind of getting radio waves off of, which is cool. I like the unique assets to it. Within the terminal are all of the sorters, and these just kind of cycle back around. And I always like house mods that include sorters, because I'm lazy. This, however, I have to address as the biggest flaw, I think, in this mod, and I know it's because I'm a Texan, I'm a gun nut, but get over it. There are some consistency errors here that need to be addressed. I like the fact that this does include the broken 44 snubby. You need a repair skill of 25 or greater to repair it, so let's do that now. And before I show off the gun, I want to get to why I wish this note just wasn't here. So I'll read it for you, and those of you who know as much about firearms as I do, or even a marginal amount, I hate to say, will know why this doesn't make a lot of sense. The note reads, "Now I know why that guy sold me this 44 snubby so cheap. It is beyond repair, or at least beyond my knowledge of repair. He said the gun was shot off the hands of a Gamora guard. Don't know how much of that is true, but what I do know is that the guy had a way with guns as he tinkered with it and managed to increase its punch at the cost of some clip space. Well, I managed to get all the needed custom parts in place, but I still can't get it to work. I like a gun with story, they sell better, but if I can't make it spit at least one bullet, it's worthless." Okay. Regardless of the whole Pawn Stars line there at the end. You know, it's got character, it's beaten up. Get over it. Revolvers don't have clips. I'm against the use of the word clip with regard to most firearms. They're magazines. Get it right. But revolvers don't even have mags. They don't have clips. That is antiquated terminology. Revolvers have cylinders. And short of boring out, and you would basically have to retool an entirely new cylinder if you were to rechamber a revolver into a higher caliber, which is the only reason that you would lose space but gain punch. Like, say you were to upgrade from, like, 38 special to 44 or something, or up to, like, 50. Yeah, then that might make sense. But this terminology, it just doesn't fit. So if this author plans to do any further updates, I would either just nix the note or update it with proper firearms terminology. Permit me a gun nut moment, that just bothered me. Primarily also because the weapon, as you can even see in first person, and also within the weapon stats, I guess this was just a 7-round revolver before, because if it lost any amount of ammunition capacity, it's still a 6-round revolver. So that doesn't really mesh here. But anyway, let's address the balance. Requires 30 gun skill, does 36 damage per shot, with a DPS of 85, takes 44 magnum, and weighs 3.5 pounds. Otherwise, good gun. Really good gun. I would assume that it's also a holdout weapon. I haven't tested that, especially since it's got the lore of being a Gamora Guard's weapon. This is a custom model. I believe it's a shortened version of the base game 44 Magnum. And I don't know whether or not that's actually sourcing from Millennia's textures to get the Smith & Wesson engraving down there in the corner and the S&W symbol there, or whether or not that was actually added by this mod. I don't know. But in any case, the weapon itself is great. I really like it. I just don't like the lore that kind of came with the box. So that's my one major criticism of this mod. So anyway, let's get away from that and continue on with positives. You've got snow globes you can throw on here. I guess that's the only one I've got with this character so far. Down into dark hallway. I like this light. If my HUD will show it up here. There we go, light cover. Basically, it takes the hat off and really illuminates this area. I like this little bed space. It actually kind of feels comfy. You've got a water valve here with some food that you can regrow. I assume the water valve allows you to regrow this food after you take it. I don't know for certain, but I know that's the way that like Underground Hideout worked. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that that's probably what this does. Custom bed. At least I don't know how custom it is. It's just kind of the futon thing. But they threw a pillow on there to make it look a bit more like a bed. You do get a free Wasteland survival guide. I don't know. Let's check real quick whether or not that is just a display survival guide or whether or not it's one you can use. Okay, so it is one you can actually use. Well, no, maybe not. Is my survival maxed out? No, it's not. Okay, so that's just the display Wasteland survival guide. So, no disruption of balance there. Very cool. Use your key to unlock the safe. And that's really about it. As you can see, it is a very, very compact little home. It definitely lives up to its name of being sort of a little survivalist bolt hole. Although I believe that name actually belongs to a different mod, which I'll probably be spotlighting soon as well, so don't confuse those. That, I believe, is everything. So, wow, that's ominous. Thank you all for joining us here at Last Level Press. I'm Mr. Black, and I wish you all good gaming and Godspeed.